we're gonna fly.
Thank you. Hi guys, this is Leo here, CEO and founder of 𝐤𝐭 Education, and today I have here with me Mr. Brett Templer. Mr. Brett Templer, he's in charge of the recruitment in Masonic Care Tasmania, which is a very big aged care firm located here in Tasmania. And I'm bringing him today so that he can clarify and answer some of your questions about the aged care industry and what you can do to start working in the aged care industry. But again, thank you for doing this, Brett.
Thanks, Leo. Thank you for inviting me along.
Sure. Brett, before we start, can you please quickly introduce yourself to my audience so they know a bit more about you?
Yeah, I'm a human resources business partner for the only human resource business partner for Masonic Care Tasmania.
Yes.
Before I worked in 𝐁𝐫𝐾 Tasmania, which also provides aged and disability services in Tasmania. So I was HR for the Northwest in that position. Masonic Care Tasmania has 3 large aged care facilities in Tasmania. We have Peacehaven, Fred French in Launceston, and we have Freemasons in Hobart. We also have community workers that work with a range of community members that still live in their own homes.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
we have just under 600 staff.
Wow. 600 staff, is it? Across those 3 different branches. Okay, well, that's very big. And out of that 600 staff, Brett, how many are actually aged care workers or community workers out of those 600? Is that
you've got around about 40 staff that are admin. So I would be classified as an administration staff. About 30 staff that work in community. So that leaves the other 500 or so that work as aged care workers of some sort, either nurses or extended care assistants or cleaning, etc.
Fantastic. And you've been doing this for many years now, I believe. You're very experienced in this industry.
About 7 years experience.
Yeah, 7 years. Got you. So what do you like the most about this industry, Brett? Like, if you can, because some of them, they haven't started in this industry yet, and they don't know what is it like. So what do you like the most about working in the aged care industry?
Well, it's a very rewarding career in terms of being able to assist people who are in the community or in our care that need extra support and extra assistance so that they can still have a good quality of life. So it's about assisting people to have as much independence as they can. But being there for them for times in their life where they don't have enough capacity to be doing everything for themselves.
Got you. And which brings me perfectly to the next question, is because for many of my students, they are very new to this industry, and many of them, they want to start working in the industry. So in terms of qualification wise, is it a compulsory thing to have one, or is it optional, or if it is compulsory, what qualification is the minimum requirement for these guys to start a career?
Yeah, Leo, it is compulsory to work to have a Certificate 3 in individual support, aged care support, or disability support. So that's the minimum requirement to work as an extended care assistant, for instance, or a support worker, which are the 2 most common roles. Added to that, it's good if you've got a current first aid certificate. That's very important. If you've got assist with medication qualification, that's great. But most facilities and organisations will supply that for you anyway. Some organisations would also need you to have a Working with Vulnerable People card.
Working with Vulnerable People card. Yes, I got you.
In aged care, it's not so much compulsory, but in disabilities, it normally is compulsory.
Yes, yes, I understand. And you say that you want someone to have a car is an advantage, right? If they have a car, to work in this industry, is it? Is it an advantage if you have a car?
The reason why it's an advantage, for a start, it's hard to be a community worker if you don't have a motor vehicle, particularly in Tasmania where there's not a lot of public transport. For instance, we don't have trains or anything like that. That's the first thing. Second thing is a lot of the work is shift work. So you might be starting work sort of 10, 11 o'clock at night when all the public transport is finished for the day. So
I
having
got you.
the ability to get to a shift on time is very important, obviously. So that's why, once again, it's an advantage if you've got a driver's license and a vehicle.
Got you, got you. But in saying that, if someone hasn't got a car yet, they still can working in your company, right? It's still okay, isn't it?
I can, but not as a community support worker.
Got you, got you. So for a community support worker, they need to be more mobile. They need to be more flexible, and that's why they need a car, like especially for community worker, right?
Because they could be spending 1 hour in one suburb, then 2 hours in another suburb,
Yeah.
etc. They could go to 5 to 6 different clients in a day, all spread across, whatever city they're in.
Got you, got you. Very good. No, thank you there. And which brings me to the next one is that because I have some of my students, they have like they are in the process of completing the certificate, so they just about 2-3 months away from it. Are they still be able to apply for the jobs if they haven't yet completed the qualification? Is that still possible?
At Masonic Care, our preference would be that they've completed the course.
Yeah. Preferably already completed. Yes. How about those? Because I actually have one question I've been sent over here for this podcast today, Brett, and she asked she needs volunteer work for about 120 hours because she has already done a certificate 3 in individual support online. So she has done an online course, and now she needs to complete another 120 hours in order to complete and get the certificate. So does your facility provide work placements or internship program that these candidates can join?
That's a complicated answer, to be honest. At the moment, we're not because of the COVID-19 situation. Normally, we do some. We already have a commitment to the University of Tasmania for nursing students, and we also have a commitment to TAFE Tasmania and work and training for extended care and support worker placements with them. So we don't like to do anything outside that if we can, because that's already a lot of students coming through. So, I mean, we wouldn't necessarily say no. We'd have to look at each one as case by case. But in general, our commitment is to the University of Tasmania, TAFE Tasmania and Work and Training, because they supply a lot of students. And you also got to remember that whilst we like to have students come through, and we were very keen to support the industry by having more workers through the industry, we also have to balance that up with also not having too many strangers, I suppose, in each facility, because there's already a lot of staff there and there's already a lot of residents there, and we can't have it too cluttered as well.
I got you. I got what you're saying. So that means that you still, it's okay if she still can send you her resume to you for you to consider her, right? Just for the future, if there's anything coming up.
I just can't guarantee anything at this moment.
Yeah, don't have to, but and then that's why like we really want to connect with people like you, because you understand it, and your advice is like very, very accurate. So that's why I'm bringing you on the show. And then which brings me to the next one is, do you see that the aged care industry is going to grow even more in Tasmania in the near future? Do you see that is happening now?
Yes, I do. It's already grown a fair bit in the last 10 years. I think there's probably a bit more growth there. And the reason why I say that is because Tasmania has, Australia has an ageing population, and
Mm.
Tasmania has the oldest population out of all the states. So, matter of fact, the figures show that we're going to have almost half of the people working in Tasmania are going to be at retirement age within the next 15 years. So, logic would suggest that means there's going to be more people going into in aged care.
Mm.
In addition to that, Australia, probably like a lot of countries, Australia's average life expectancy has gone up by around about 10 to 12 years for an individual from what it was 20 years ago. So effectively, people are living longer, which is great, but obviously, the more chances are that they would need to get some assistance via the aged care program.
I got you. So what you're saying is that in the next 15 years, we're going to see even more people who's entering into the retirement age, and that's why the demand for this industry is going to be even higher in the near future, right?
Right, Leo, if I gave you a figure that probably might surprise you, is
Okay.
when I started in this industry, um, it was around about 6% of the Tasmanian workforce worked in the aged and disability support industry. Now that figure is now around about 14%. So
Wow.
it's 7 years more than doubled. So that sort of shows you how much it's grown already.
Yes, yes, I totally understand. And again, and that also means that there are employment opportunities there as well, isn't it? Because if there is a demand for the industry, there must be a demand for employees as well.
Right, this industry, aged and disability, now employs more people in Tasmania than any other industry, and including the public service.
Wow, wow. That's such a great news for people who are considering moving into this industry, which again bring me to the next point is that because I believe since you in charge of the hiring and recruiting, you must have received a lot of like resume and application on a daily basis, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so how can you know which one to choose over the other? Because you have so much like application in your hand. So how can you tell which one is a better application than the other?
That's a very good question, and it's not an easy one to answer, to be honest. Um, it's not like it's not a foolproof method. I can't say that works perfectly every time. Essentially, when I'm looking at a resume and cover letter,
Mm,
I see when they got their qualifications, what qualifications they had,
mm,
how how much work they've done already in the industry, and where, and also a bit of a look at who their referees are as well. So I'm looking at sort of experience and working in the industry, and have
mm,
they got sometimes when we're recruiting, we're looking for a specific sort of person, and so recruiting, we're looking for a female employee under 30, and sometimes we're looking for a male employee over 30. You know what I mean? It depends on the demographics of who they'll be working with, because ideally we need to match new workers up with our residents.
mm. I got you. So it's really varies, right? From what you said, it really varies. You look at different factors depending on what is it that the client needs, right? So look at different things when you choose the candidate.
That's right. Yeah, it's not an easy one to answer, but I mean, I would say to everybody, if you're applying for a job with us, then have a resume that's sort of um, really clear in what you've done, and that not too cluttered, not too much information, but clear on what your qualifications are, where you've worked, and who your referees are.
Got you, got you. And what if these some of these guys, Brad, they are actually just complete the qualification. Some of them only have done 120 hours of work placements, and that's about it. So would you also consider these graduates as well, these people too?
Yeah, we would. Once again, it depends. Sometimes we might go, well, we need a few people without too much experience so that we can sort of keep training staff up and giving them the opportunities. So sometimes we purposely look at staff that mightn't have as much time in the industry as others, just to try and make sure we've got that diversity in the workplace. Probably another thing I should add in there, golden rule is always put where you actually live on your resume. You don't have to put your whole address, but if you're in Launceston, put Launceston. If you're in Hobart, put Hobart.
Got you.
Because at the moment, for instance, we're looking for staff in Launceston, but not so much for Hobart. Whereas in a couple of months' time, it could be the exact opposite.
Got you. Got you. So that's a very good point, guys. If you heard Brad said, he say that if you have to update your address wherever you live on your resume, because that is very important factor when he look at your resume and he can choose if you are the right candidate or not. So I think that's a very good good tips you just tell them right there. And which brings me to the next one is that, for the do you recommend these guys, for some of them that don't have much experience, would you recommend them to do volunteer work before they start? Is it a good thing to do some volunteer first?
Yeah, it's definitely not a bad thing. It's certainly, it's a good thing. In the industry itself, we do have volunteers, but not every facility or every organisation has volunteers. For instance, when I was at Anglicare, they have a policy of no volunteers, whereas most of the aged care facilities do allow for some volunteers.
Got you. Do you have like any big names of this, any names of these companies that do offer the volunteer or volunteer opportunities?
Well, I'm only going on what I've heard, but I believe that 𝐷𝐬𝐭, for instance, in Launceston, I think they have volunteers.
You say 𝐷𝐬𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿
CATE. That's in Newnham in Launceston.
Got you. Got you.
There's some of the Regis Care ones, I believe, still have volunteers. So Regis, for instance, own about 3 aged care facilities in Launceston. I think they have ones in Hobart as well.
Got you. Got you.
Mark and Bernie, they have volunteers.
Okay, so you mean the Regis Aged Care, right? You're talking about that one.
Yeah.
They also offer volunteer positions.
Used to. A year ago they did.
Got you. Got you. And what would be your suggestion on how these candidates can approach these aged care centers to ask for the volunteer? Should they walk in? Should they email? Should they give them a call? Like, what is the best approach would you suggest them to do?
Probably at the moment, because of the COVID-19, it might be best to email or call. When things return back to normal, it's probably best just to go in.
Yes, yes, I agree with you.
Then you can actually meet someone.
Yeah. Because you know, one of the reasons that people are a bit scared to walk in, you know, is because they're afraid that they would make the receptionist upset, or they would make the employer upset. But I don't think that's the case, right?
Yeah.
Actually, you prefer to talk to them in person, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. I think you'll get more out of going in. It's probably hard at the moment because there's restrictions and everybody's a little bit cautious for obvious reasons. But when things get back to normal, that'd be my recommendation.
Fantastic. Because hey guys, so if you hear what Brett just said right there, he simply say that, you know, it's always good to leave a personal impression to the employer by simply bringing your CV, walking in, introduce yourself, talk to the employers with confidence. And I mean, worst thing is they say no to you, but best thing is they say, oh, when can you start? Isn't it? There's nothing to lose.
Oh, you've got nothing to lose. The worst thing that can happen is a no, but if they say yes, then that's great.
Exactly. That's awesome. And which brings me to the next one is that with Masonic Care Tasmania right now, are you seeing that there's going to be, or is there currently any demand for any employees right now? Are you looking for someone in Launceston or in Hobart at the moment?
We're pretty steady in Hobart at the moment. These things can change very quickly, but at the moment we're steady in Hobart, but we're still looking for some new staff as casuals, extended care assistants, catering, and nurses, so ENs in particular.
I got you. I got you. Fantastic. You said extend.
Still looking, but Hobart's pretty steady at the moment.
Yeah. How about Launceston? Do you guys have any office in Launceston?
Yes, yes. Most of our operation is in Launceston.
Oh, nice. Oh, wow. Okay.
All the exec except for one or in Launceston. I'm in Launceston, so yeah.
And which brings me perfectly to the next question. Do you see that there's actually more shortage of staff in Launceston, or vice versa? Or is it like depending, or what do you see in terms of the shortage of staff?
I think there is more shortage in Launceston from my experience.
Yeah.
Having a few organisations, normally there's more staff to pick from in Hobart than there is in Launceston because it's a bigger population.
Got you.
Hobart about 80,000 bigger than Launceston. So yeah, it's from my experience. Normally, when we send out adverts, we normally get more response in Hobart than we do in Launceston. But the need is normally just as big in Launceston as it is in Hobart, you see.
Yes, yes. So would you suggest that for those of people who have a hard time applying for jobs in Hobart, maybe they should consider applying in Launceston because there are more demand over there?
Yes.
That's great. Yes. Well, that's a very good information right there. And then which bring me to the next one is, and this is something that I know it's a bit odd to ask, but do you see that the different nationalities of the employees, does it play any role in your hiring them, or are you open to different races, different ethnicity as well? Is there any factors in that?
We're open to different races and people from different countries working with us. Just give you a bit of an update there. Like I would estimate around about a quarter or more of our workforce are people that have been born in Asia or Africa or other countries, South America, for instance.
Oh, nice.
So, like at the moment, I've got about 11 people going through the recruitment process, like at medical stage, and I would say, off the top of my head, I think 7 of those are from born outside Australia. In addition to that, we have a partnership with the Migrant Resource Centre, and we run a training program through the Migrant Resource Centre for people that want to work in this industry in catering or cleaning in particular.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we had to put that on hold this year because of the virus, but that's a partnership we've had going for a couple of years now that we intend to go for foreseeable future. So, for instance, that
Beautiful.
About 12 participants in that at the moment. I think from memory, just right off the top of my head, I think that about 7 are from the Philippines. So there was a Chinese person there, one from Nepal. I think there was 2 from Malaysia. So yeah, there's a lady from Nigeria, I think, as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. It's a great relief to hear. I mean, because some of my students, they were concerned that because of their colors, they're concerned that because they are not from here, they might be afraid that the employer might not, like to hire them as much as the local people. But from what you said, it's not really the case.
No, look, it's not I can't speak for everyone. I can only speak for myself, really. And that's not a factor for me. My factor is just whether I think you'll be a good employee. And You can be a good employee, you could be local, you're from another country, it doesn't make any difference. It's just a matter of whether I think you'd be a good employee or not.
Got you, got you. And I have one question here as we are doing this. Brett, she asked me, I've done the food handling certificate. If they can, is it possible that can I apply for the catering positions? What is it you after for the catering positions?
At the moment, we're looking for cooks rather than assistants.
A cook.
We're looking for 2 cooks in the Launceston. So to work as a cook in our kitchen, you need a certificate for a commercial cookery.
Got you. Cert 4 and C cookery. Yep. Got you.
Or you have an internship somewhere.
Okay. Okay. I got what you mean. And if my clients or if my students want to find about these opportunities, is it uploaded anywhere on the website, or is there any way that they can find out about the vacancy with you, with your company?
Yep. We advertise normally on Seek, and we've got a few adverts there at the moment. Also, we advertise on our own website. So that's Masonic Care Tasmania website. And we've got it as well at the moment.
For sure, for sure. And probably the last 2 questions here, Brett, is that some of my clients or my students, they are enrolled nurse. Some of them are registered nurse from, you know, they come from Sydney, Melbourne, or Brisbane. So your facility also looking for nurses as well, right?
Yeah.
So compare between nurse and aged care workers, it seems like there are less position for nurses, isn't it, as compared to the aged care workers?
That's right. You don't need the same ratio of nurses as you do extended care assistants. So, for instance, to give you an example, we'd normally have about 250 extended care assistants and probably about 60 to 70 nurses.
I got you. I got you. And right now, do you see that? Do you see also the because of this COVID-19? Do you see the unemployment rate is higher, or do you see that it does not really affect much your business or the employment opportunity? Do you see any impacts on
No, it's not impacting us at all because we're still an essential service. So, if anything, it's actually driving up the staff that we need because of government requirements. You see, to make sure that we're keeping the residents as safe as we can. So, and of course, if you've got some staff that need to have time off because they need to do testing in case they've got COVID-19 themselves, coronavirus, then that means we've got to have staff coming to replace them, you see. So if anything, we're recruiting more now than we've done probably for the last 6 months.
Wow, guys, I heard you guys listening very carefully to what Brett said just now. What he was saying that is actually during this COVID-19, there's actually a surge in demand for staff because they need more people than ever, and because this is an essential service, so they need to keep hiring people because you cannot ignore the elderly and the residents, isn't it? You have to continue taking care of them.
That's right. They're still there, and they still need all the help that we can provide them with.
Got you. Which brings me probably the one or last 2 questions here, Brad, is in terms of the hours, like how much hours on average? I know it's a bit hard to generalize, but how much hours do you think they can work in as a, let's say, a care assistant? How many hours do you think they can get a week on average?
Yeah, it is a hard one to answer because, you know, it's all a bit different, but look, on average, you'd expect to get about 25 to 30 hours a week.
30 hours a week. Wow, nice. Yes, I got you there.
The time was 38 hours a week, so yeah.
Yes, and so because some of my students, they are, you know, they want to look for jobs in the kitchens in your company. So you say you're looking at two staff right now, right? In the Launceston, isn't it?
2 cooks. Yeah, 2 cooks in
Yeah.
Launceston.
Got you. So how soon do you need them? Because I have quite a few candidates who could potentially be interested in hiring in the positions. Do you need it ASAP or have some time?
Yeah, ASAP.
ASAP for sure. Okay, and yeah, so thank you so much for today, Brett. Is there, if you can, you know, if one, this is the question I ask all the clients or all the people who attend my podcast. If you can rewind yourself probably 20 something years ago, and if you are a brand new person starting to work in the aged care industry, what would be some of the advice you have for your younger self in order to find employment in this industry, like top 2-3 advices you have?
I'd say when you go for an interview, be very client focused, be very focused on the people that you're there to assist. I think that's the key factor there when we're looking for staff. We want people that are going to be focused on the resident and the clients that they're working with. Show a willingness to be flexible in your hours and when you can work, because it's a 24/7 industry, so flexible, and also be willing and open to more training, because you build up your skills and that, and you might work with a range of different people where you'll need to have different certificates, say for dementia and bowel care and stuff like that. So be willing to learn more.
Beautiful, beautiful. And do you think people with student visa has any, because some of them, they're on student visa right now, Brad, and they can work 20 hours a week. Is it okay for them to apply for the jobs too if they only have about 20 hours working rights a week?
Yeah, that's fine. We already have staff here in that situation.
Okay. Thank you so much. And I think that's a fantastic things you're sharing today. You're very generous of you, Brett. I appreciate that. And what do you think I can do? I mean, I have a lot of these candidates that you're looking for. Is it possible that I can forward their resume to you?
Yep, that's fine.
Yeah, yeah. And if you want me to arrange a call with them, I'm happy to assist, because I want to make sure that you have the best staff, and I also want to make sure that my clients have the best, like the best aged care center to work for. And I see you guys are everywhere, so you must be very big in Tasmania.
No worries. Thanks, Leo.
Thank you so much for your time, Brad. Take care, and I look forward to working with you and helping you in any way that I can. Okay.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Take care. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.